Receiving schools, here is a reference for today's lesson. Your strand, substrand, outcome, topic, materials, and your reference.
Good morning, 8Cs, receiving school students and teachers.
Good morning, Miss Irma.
Thank you. You may sit down. All right, 8Cs and receiving students. I reminded you in our previous lesson that today we were going to have guest speakers from the Japanese embassy, and because we're going to touch on culture in the Asian region, so we decided to have Japan, okay? Look at the culture of Japan. So that's why we invited our guest speaker to come and present to us the things, okay, what the way of life, okay, in Japan. So this morning, 8Cs and receiving students, we have the privilege to have Mr. Naoito Izumikawa from Culture and Public Relations, the second secretary. Okay, so please, can you make welcome Mr. Izumikawa, please? Everyone, 80s and receiving students.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay, so we'll now have Mr. Izumikawa to come and talk. Thank you.
Thank you for introducing me, teacher Miss Erima. Thank you very much. Morning to Orgeta. My name is Naohito Izumikawa. I'm a cultural and public relations officer of the Japanese embassy. So thank you for giving me this kind of opportunity to show about Japan. So today, our lesson on this morning, I'm going to briefly explain about the geography of Japan, food, culture, school life in Japan, and if we have enough time, I would like to show all of you about the Japan video topics. It is some introducing nowadays life in Japan. So at the first, there is 47 prefectures in Japan. How about the Papua New Guinea? How many provinces do you have? 20. 20. So we have 47 prefectures, and in Japan we are divided 9 regions. I will point out. This is I prepare for the map of Japan. Hokkaido region in the northern part. Of course, the Papua New Guinea might be here under the equator, but in world here, Papua New Guinea here. So Japan is up to here. Then Hokkaido region and Tohoku, then Kanto, and Chubu, Kinki, 中国、四国、then Kyushu, then lastly Okinawa Islands. Okinawa area might be here, around this area. So each region has its own dialect, customs, and unique traditional culture. And then I brought some indicate here. We will speak Japanese language. How about you will speak? What language do you speak? Huh? Talk pidgin, and also English is your mother tongue language, right? So Japanese, we will speak Japanese. Then Papua New Guinean, English and pidgin. So language, it's a different. And population. So Japan, 127 million. How about your country? How many? Huh? Around 5 million, 5 million. I checked with some encyclopedia. It says 5 million. Is that correct? Almost 5 million. Okay. Then Japan, capital city, Tokyo. Tokyo, around here. So Papua New Guinea, Port Moresby, yes, nice city. I like here, Port Moresby. I just came from Japan just 11 months ago. 11 months ago. I'm still new here, and then I really enjoyed the life in Port Moresby. It's a nice and beautiful town. I like the Port Moresby. Then land area. Japan, 378,000 square kilometer. It's a huge, I think huge. Totally 378,000 square kilometer. How about the Papua New Guinea? I checked with encyclopedia in the library. 463,000 square kilometer. Your country. 463,000 square kilometer. It's bigger than us, bigger than Japan. You have a rich country. You have a rich resources, land resources and mining resources. I envy you. It's a really large country, right? So this is a comparison about Japan and Papua New Guinea. So please keep your mind, okay? Then next. So Japan is ranked the 9th highest population country in the world. So this number, 127 million, could be a ninth ranked highest population in the world. It's huge. Compared with your country, 5 million. It's a huge number. So in Japan, as I felt in town or capital city Tokyo, it's so much crowded the people and crowded the car and airplane, everything. It's crowded. So 70% of Japanese land is mountainous. Look, such kind of mountains, 70%. And major cities are concentrated in 30%. Major city here or here, just 30% of the Japanese land. Then nature and climate of Japan. As you can see a map, Japan is surrounded by a sea, and this size could be a 1/20th the land of the Australia. 1/20th, just 1/20th. So it's a very small. And then we consist 4 main land, as I told you before: Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, then Kyushu. So our country has 4 seasons. Right now, summer, then autumn, winter, and spring. How about your country? Two. What kind of season do you have? Wet and dry. So right now, July, month of July, it's dry season? Dry. And then in Japan, month of July is typhoon season. It's summer, mid of summer. And then almost we will have some typhoon right now. As I see some weather report of Japan, right now here is a typhoon, and then soon they will come to hit the Japanese land. So in Japan, we often experience disasters. As I say, typhoons, volcanic eruptions, and earthquake. And volcanic eruptions. So you have some big volcanic eruption. I think. Where did you get? Rabaul. Hi. Lady.
Rabaul, Medeng, and Popondeta.
Rabaul, Medeng, Popondeta. Such a big eruption, I think. So we have also similar type of the volcanic eruptions. And then right now I'd like to point out also earthquake. Earthquake is a very huge damage and casualties. For example, 1995, just this area, January 1995, we received a big hit of the earthquake. It was very huge casualties. Around more than 6,000 people died. It was huge. So from these experiences, Japan has made effort to rapidly establish something like a tsunami early warning mechanism for the Indian Ocean countries, taking into one of the Pacific Ocean where Papua New Guinea is situated. So of course, almost 10 years for the big earthquake here, but now we constructed already we rebuild buildings and housings almost as a normal. So just 10 years we built by ourselves for the such kind of renovations. So because we had technology of constructions. Then, so do you have any question about the Japanese nature and some climate, something? Any question? Okay, so next, I would like to explain about the food. Just now, I brought something here, just display. Japanese meal consists of serving plain white rice along with a main dish, some kind of side dish, something like vegetables, soup and pickled vegetables. And Japanese rice is sticky when cooked. So Japanese people today eat many dishes from around the world, like Europeans, Americans, Asians. So, but fortunately, I've never heard of the Papua New Guinean dishes in Japan. But for example, in here, can we eat Papua New Guinean dishes in Port Moresby? Please teach me, because I try to find a Papua New Guinean food restaurant here, but I couldn't find it yet. So, for example, do you have some typical Papua New Guinean food? Please teach me. Huh?
Momo.
Momo. Yes. Momo. Momo. What's a momo? Please explain to me momo. Because Japanese language momo means a peach. Peach. Fruit stuffed peach.
Food is wrapped in banana leaves or foil, and it's put into a pit. They dig up a pit and put that parcel into that pit with hot stones over that.
Pig meat?
Yeah, pork,
pig meat.
chicken.
Bananas and pig meat, and then wrapped by banana. I see banana leaves. It looks tasty. Next time I will try it. Momo. My favorite dishes is momo. Okay. So just now, of course, there is in Port Moresby, there are 2 Japanese restaurants. So if you want taste it, you can go to that Japanese 2 restaurant here in Port Moresby. So just now, I introduced Japanese chopsticks. Of course, Chinese and Korean people, they will use chopsticks. So like this. And then I brought some Japanese famous sushi. This is sticky rice, ne? Then raw fish, tuna, mackerel, and tuna, and also this is shrimp, and then sea urchin, and this is a raw egg of the salmon. Eh? So, Japanese use a chopstick like this. And this is like this. Of course, this is this is made by a plastic. Of course, this is a wooden one, but these are made by plastic for showing some menu at the Japanese restaurant. So this is easy to understand for what it is of the Japanese dishes cooking. So when you go to the Japanese restaurant, please try to use this chopsticks. And also this is a rice cooking famous one. And another one, Japanese soba. This is a very favorite among the Japanese people. Also myself, I like this kind of Japanese noodle. It's a Japanese noodle. This is made from soba feet. So when I was in summertime, I eat a lot this kind of cold Japanese noodle. Then, so this is Japanese food culture. Of course, this is one of it. So if you like to feel it, you can go to a Japanese restaurant. Also, you can visit to a Japanese embassy. I will introduce more and more. Then I will talk about the bit of a culture. Japanese lifestyle is today's lifestyle is a rich blend of Asian influenced traditional culture and Western influenced modern culture. So kabuki, no, and bunraku, Japanese traditional performing arts, and it's still active today. Kabuki is a form classical theater. I brought here. This is some publications. Kabuki is a theater play. And then No is Japan's oldest form of musical theater. Here, with some mask. So with some mask for the No, but this kabuki used to some face painting. As I heard, Papua New Guinean has a cultural show. They have a face painting. So what's it called? Shinshin. They used face painting. So it was very similar culture of us. So this is a kabuki play, and also No play. Then bunraku is a kind of a puppet theater. So bunraku is here, puppet show, something like a puppet show. So this is a very traditional Japanese culture, and also other traditional culture arts, traditional arts, something like a tea ceremony, and ikebana. Ikebana is a flower arrangement. Besides the traditional culture, Japanese people also enjoy modern culture, something like animation. Do you know Pocket Monster? You know it. So Pocket Monster is very well known of the animation of the world. Also my son, my eldest son is 12 years old. I think same as yours. You are age 10 or 11? 16. Yeah. So all of you know a Pocket Monster. Okay, that is a Japanese made. So just shortly, I introducing my Japanese culture. So do you have any questions now? Okay, just now I would like to introduce my friend Mr. Mashiro, please.
皆さんおはようございます。
おはようございます。
私はマルセロです。今日は暖かいですね。目にかけて嬉しいです。What I just said was, good morning everyone. My name is Marcelo, and I'm glad to meet you all.
Okay, switch on.
Okay. I've been to university in Japan, so I didn't go to the shogako, just like primary school like you guys went to. So I wouldn't go into the experience of explaining in detail. Most of my work was done in research, and I will not go into details of. I also worked in Tokyo for a while as a geoscientist over there, but I will not also go into the indulge with that as well. The basic school system in Japan composed of the elementary comprising 6 years, the middle school about 3 years, high school 3 years, and eventually the university for 4 years. Before everyone goes to the university, they sit for an exam. The exam is very competitive, tough, and if you don't pass the marks, you don't make it to the university. As you know, in Japan, everything is written and done in Japanese language. So one has to master the language. Like in Papua New Guinea, we have only 6 characters in the Roman alphabet. From 26, from A to Z, you have 26. In Japan, you need to know 5,000 of them. So initially it was about 5,000. The Japanese letters were derived from China. Initially, during the 6th century, it was derived from China and developed into the own Japanese way of writing the letters. They have the kanji at the back. 日本語で何と言いますか？この漢字。
何を？
この漢字で。
祭り？
そう。
日本語で祭り？フェスティバルね。
It means matsuri. At the back written.
Show. Festival in Japanese. Festival. This letter.
It means matsuri. It means festival. These are kanjis. And then you have the hiragana. Usually people say it's for the women. And then you have katakana. Usually to describe foreign words. In Japan, what normal core subjects do you take in year 8? What are the core subjects you take in year 8? English, math, science. In Japan, from what I know, it's social studies, Japanese language and a little bit of calligraphy, Japanese writing, maths, science, information technology, arts, music. That's about it. And yeah, any questions? Okay, I was in a research environment where to do my research. I stayed there for about 3 years for a master's and PhD program. So I went there as a student, as a Mambusho student, successful applicant for the scholarship. So eventually, if you make it up there to a certain age, year 12, if you do well in your academic studies, you can always pursue for apply for a scholarship through the embassy. That's about it. So, what is this?
Thank you, Mr. Mashiro-san. ありがとうございました。So, do you have any question about the school life in Japan? So, I think very tough studying Japanese language because of he explained already. We use different hiragana, katakana, and kanjis. It was different than alphabet. So I think if you will go to Japan or if you will study Japanese language, it will be so hard. But already here is a good example. He can read Japanese katakana, hiragana, and kanjis. So maybe future you will go to the Japanese government scholarship, Monbu Kagakusho scholarship, and then study your major in Japan, please. Then, so I would like to show you one Japanese video showing about nowadays Japanese life here, Japanese life. Okay.
Over 200,000 people died after the recent Indonesian earthquake and subsequent tsunami or tidal waves simply because they had no warning. Earthquakes, like the disastrous one that devastated Kobe in 1995, hit without warning and are often followed by tsunami. There's a reason why tsunami is a Japanese word. This is one of the world's most earthquake-prone countries. Alerting the nation to earthquakes and tsunami is the job of the Japan Meteorological Agency.
We have 180 seismometers around Japan, transmitting data 24 hours a day. Computer analysis of this data allows us to produce tsunami warnings very rapidly.
After an earthquake, the agency announces the intensity. Within 3 minutes, it issues provisional tsunami warnings. And within 5 minutes, comprehensive earthquake information lets people in coastal areas know if they need to evacuate. Just 2 seconds after seismic data reaches the agency, it is retransmitted to emergency services and broadcasting stations. Broadcast programming is immediately interrupted for emergency announcements.
先ほど11時55分頃、近畿地方で強い地震がありました。今、津波警報が出ました。今、先ほど地震で津波警報が出ました。海岸や河口付近には絶対に近づかないでください。
Specially designed equipment saves precious seconds when producing tsunami warnings. This touch screen automatically generates a graphic display of coastal danger zones. Incoming earthquake and tsunami data from the Meteorological Agency is directly displayed in an easy-to-read format for the announcer.
It's very important for us to be able to get earthquake information and tsunami warnings on the air as fast as possible. If possible, within 2 minutes for earthquakes and 3 minutes for tsunami. In order to do that, we use the latest IT technology, and that enables us to carry out this public duty.
The Meteorological Agency is currently experimenting with a faster emergency earthquake reporting system. As soon as the seismometer closest to the quake sends data, the system begins calculating probable intensities. The expanding red zone shows the estimated arrival time of large tremors. Earthquakes directly below cities are difficult to predict, but damage can be minimized if high-rise buildings and transportation authorities are alerted promptly.
メモを取ったりとかあんまりしないね。どうしてだろう。
Another system now being tested uses terrestrial digital TV frequencies to broadcast emergency information to mobile phones.
まもなく地震が到来する可能性があります。
New technology with faster tsunami and earthquake warnings is saving lives.
They feel to write to impolite.
Expo 2005 runs for 6 months until September the 25th. Many overseas visitors to the Expo arrive at the nearby brand new Central Japan International Airport.
For myself, that's what?
After seeing the future at the Expo, why not enjoy a side trip to the heart of old Japan? It's just 100 minutes from the airport by ferry. This is Iseshima National Park, an area long popular with domestic tourists for its lovely islands and for its excellent seafood. The world's first cultured pearls were grown here in Iseshima. Pearl Island is the place to go to see the history of the Japanese pearl industry. Here, women pearl divers dive for oysters, as they have done for centuries. In the Island Museum, you can watch highly skilled workers delicately processing the cultured pearls. Pearls with their beautiful deep luster are used in all kinds of jewellery, and the museum has many fine examples on show. This is also a good place to buy pearls. It offers everything from reasonably priced items to the very finest quality. In the old days, Issei pearls were considered sacred and were offered to Japan's most famous shrine, situated nearby in the national park. Worshippers have been coming to the Issei Jingu Shrine for over 2,000 years, and even today Japanese of all religions see it as their nation's spiritual heart. Only worshippers are allowed into the main sanctuary, but tourists are welcome to climb to the top of its stone entrance steps. The Issei Jingu Sanctuary is also a unique example of the earliest Japanese architectural style. Centuries ago, the world's first tour conductors guided teeming crowds of pilgrims to Issei Jingu Shrine. Today's tour conductors are likely to take their groups of tourists to nearby Okage Yokocho, a reconstruction of the town as it was 300 years ago. Two rocks in the sea, bound by a giant rope, symbolize faithful marriage. This is Ise Shima, a place where history and nature share a timeless bond. Okinawa, 1,700 kilometers south of Tokyo, is a beautiful island with its own unique culture. Central to Okinawan culture is its music, most of which features the traditional three-stringed sanshin. Joy, regret, or just relief at the end of the day's work. Okinawans like to express their feelings to the sound of the sanshin. Many young Okinawans are now learning to play the sanshin. What do they think about this instrument?
I think it brings people closer together. The sanshin feels like an old friend to me.
Because of its central location, Okinawa was greatly influenced by surrounding Asian cultures. The sanshin was based on a Chinese instrument, modified over the centuries until it gave today's uniquely Okinawan sound. The neck is carved from Ryukyu ebony, naturally cured over a long period. And the body is made from 4 pieces of wood covered in snakeskin. The name Sanshin literally means 3 strings. Far more than just a popular folk instrument, for Okinawans, the Sanshin represents the enduring heart of their island culture.
You have any questions? Me, myself, and Mr. Mashiro-san, we will welcome to listen to your questions.
What are the main religions in Japan?
In Japan, mainly, of course, there are various religions, something like Christian and Buddhism and Muslim, but myself, Buddhist, and also mainly Japanese people believe Buddhism and Shinto. Hi. Some other questions?
8Cs and receiving students, I'd like to take this time to, on behalf of the 8Cs and the receiving students, we'd like to thank you, Mr. Izumikawa and your...
Mr. Mashiro,
Okay.
Mr. Albere.
Yes. Thank you very much. We thank you for taking this time to come here and talk to us about your culture, Japanese. And I'm sure we've learned much. We've learned so much about your culture, and we're very happy, very grateful for you to come here. Thank you very much. Okay, it says, can you give them thank you clap, please? Or what's it called?
Thank you very much.
That's to the end of our lesson. 8Cs and receiving students, thank you very much for listening.
Teachers, here is your reference for the next lesson. Your strand, substrand, outcome, the topic, materials, and your reference.